Good morning, dear students. I hope that you are enjoying your extraordinary holidays at home. At the same time, I have come to know that you are enjoying your online classes which is being sent from St. Thomas School. You have already learned your social science, your science, Kannada and Hindi. But now I would like to introduce you the English. So far you have not learned or so far you have not gone to the first chapter of English language and literature. Before beginning your introduction to your first chapter of your English language and literature, I would like to give you a small introduction about your textbooks, at the same time what the course is. Your language and literature, the textbook, there are two textbooks in class 9. First is Behaves and the second one is Moments. Behaves contains the poetry and the prose, whereas Moments contains stories. Dear students, as the name indicates, have you ever seen or have you ever thought what is literature? What is the theme of literature? I can tell you. Literature is the body of written words. And what is the theme of literature? So what about the literature? Literature is about life. So therefore, anything that is related to life is a part of literature. Literature never dies. As long as the life exists in the world, literature also will be existing because literature deals with the life. At the same time, students, when you come to the first chapter of your English language and literature, you will see the fun they had. When you turn the pages, you will see the first chapter and you may be reading the title of the first unit, that is the fun they had. You may be doubting what the fun they had. I will tell you clearly what the fun they had. Before that, who has written the chapter, the first unit or the first chapter? Isaac Asimov from Russia. He was from America. At the same, he was born and brought up in Russia, and later he was immigrated to USA, and he was a chemistry professor. And what is the theme of the fun they had? Let us see one more.
Students, let us see the first chapter, the fun they had of your English language and literature. Before coming to the chapter, let us see the objectives of the chapter. And I have divided certain objectives in as general objectives and the specific objectives. Let us see one by one. The first general objective is to enable students to read, write, speak, understand English correctly. Secondly, to enrich the vocabulary of the students to use the same correctly. Thirdly, to enable the students to understand the difficult words and phrases in the lesson. Now let us see some of the specific objectives. They are to acquaint the students a scientific story. Secondly, to enable the students about robot and robotic teachers. Finally, to enable the students about variety of modern teaching aids. So we have seen what is the name of the chapter and what are the objectives of the chapters. Now let us see who is the author. The author of the chapter, the fun they had, is Isaac Asimov. 2nd January 1920 in Petrovich, Russia. Later he came to USA and became a chemistry professor there. He is a well-known writer and he has written more than 500 books. My dear students, now let me give you a previous knowledge. These are certain hints that make you to understand or that make you to understand the difference between the schools we have now and the future schools. In another way, the present school and the future schools. Let us see what kind of school would you want to have in the future. How much will the computer be involved in the future education? Will you feel more happy in a more developed high-tech society? Why or why not? Everyone is so happy to have the class in the school other than the online classes. I know that because your friends, you can't meet your friends now. Nobody is with you at home. Whereas when you come to the school, you will have your friends, you will have your teachers, you will have your schools, everyone will be there. So my students will be so happy with that. And the author has given us difference between the present school and the future schools. Now you have to understand one thing, that chapter is about future schools. Now we have a system, a school where students are going to the class, teachers are taking the class, you will be sitting in the classroom where you have the friends and the teacher will be coming and teachers will be teaching you, You have printed notes, you have to take down certain notes, you have to study, your homeworks will be there, everything will be there. That is the present system we have. Whereas, dear students, in future, there is no schools. Your room will be the school. You will be sitting in front of the computer and you will be learning by using the computer. You will have a telebook, e-book on the screen. These are the differences that the author makes through this chapter. Difference, that is what we say, difference between the present school and the future school. The present school, teachers will be there, a real man communication, emotional, not perfectly. In future school, robotic or mechanical teachers give the test after test, no communication, so and so will be there. Present school will have teaching in a building, many students are taught the same thing. Future schools, in his or her own house, needless to leave home. Each kid could be taught differently. The classes are always on the same time every day. Present school will have exam, test paper, writing, essay writing, so many activities will be there. Whereas in future schools, write them out in a computer by pressing the keys, put them on the slot. These are the technique that we see now. Is using two pictures. The left side, students are sitting in the classroom and writing. Right side, see, the students in future will be sitting like this in front of the computer. Now I will show you some of the pictures that shows the present education system and the future, how it would be or how it will be. In the classroom, students will be there, teachers will be there, and you will be sitting and you will be listening to a teacher. The virtual classes comes. See, now you alone will be sitting in front of the computer and you will be learning. You will be seeing your notes. You will be listening to the computer, and the robot or robotic teachers will be taking the class and you will be listening to them. And there is no relationship. You can't meet your friends. You will be sitting alone at home and you will be learning. There is no interaction. And that is what the future school. Here, now I think you might have understood what the future school and what the present school. Now, this is what the author makes clear through this chapter, the fun they had. And still you may be doubting what the fun they had. Now I clearly tell you that the fun they had is, if you tell to the students of 2157 that we had a formal school system where they used to go to the school and teachers used to teach. If you tell to the generation of 2157, it will be job for them, it will be fun for them. That is what the author state, that the fun they had. Clearly a difference between present and future school system. See the pictures, you can understand that. You can very well understand how it would be. So now, slowly, let me give you an English of the story. The author, Isaac Asimov, depicts a school system which is independent of human teacher and based on technical advance. The main advantage is individual teaching, which can train the personal talents. In the system, there are no human mistake, and it is a perfect way to give every child the same knowledge and information. But there are some disadvantages too. Human pupils do not learn like a computer. I think learning has to be a kind of fun. Otherwise, the probability of forgetting is higher. Studies have come to the result that you can learn things better if you have fun while you are learning. Another disadvantage is that there are no social relationships like at the school today. If a child lives in a neighborhood with no other children, it is alone and has no social relationship with other children. Learning with friends at school can be a motivation. At schools today, the pupils improve their communication and their behavior in a group. In Asimov's future vision, there are no human teachers who can give moral values to the children. Giving moral values is the duty of their parents, because mechanical teacher cannot give them moral values. And now, Dear students, I will give you the summary of the chapter, the fun they had. Once you read this summary, you will understand better what the chapter deals with. In the year 2157, 13-year-old Tommy finds an old book. He and Margie, who is 11 years old, find it strange that the words on paper do not move after having been read. Nowadays, they only read stories on the computer screen. The book is about the school centuries ago. Margie is very surprised that in the past people had a person as a teacher and that all children of the same age learned the same thing and went to the house with other children. Margie wants to read more of the book, but first she has to learn with her mechanic teacher, whose level is too advanced for her, and she thinks school in those days was much better than today. School in the future will be very bad. School nowadays is very good and the people have much fun. For example, in line 18, Margie says, I hate school. And in the last two lines there is written, Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. I also think that schools nowadays is better than in the story. In the future, in the school, as described by Isaac Asimov, social aspect is lost. There are no forms anymore. Everyone sits in front of the computer and the pupils cannot learn together. Because every child learns different things. But school today is not as good and funny as Margie thinks. Almost nobody today would say that he likes school. And there are many problems like forms with too many pupils. But I think regular teachers can do the solutions. So dear students, now you have understood what the summary of the chapter is. Therefore, please listen to the video more than 2 times and read it. Next class, we will see and we will read this chapter line by line or completely be learned. Thank you.